Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. This is Jenny. And ngayon, ituturo ko sa inyo kung paano ko ba ginagawa ang pag-i-import ng products gamit ang Alibaba platform. Ayan, before we go ahead sa ating step number 1, make sure to create your account first sa Alibaba, which is for free. Wala pong bayad, kaya pwede na kayong mag-register as we go along with this video tutorial. And disclaimer po muna sa lahat ng bago or matagal na sa channel na ito, I am sharing what I know. I am sharing based on my experience. Kaya if you think meron kayong mga hesitation or doubts, feel free to check other resources as well. Okay? So, start tayo with step number 1. Paano nga ba tayo makakapag-import ng product gamit ang Alibaba? Of course, you have to find a product first and then a supplier. Okay, if you already have an idea kung ano yung product na gusto mong i-import, pero if in case wala ka pang idea kung ano yung gusto mong i-import, then wala rin namang problema kasi this will be a good opportunity for you para makahanap ng products na possible mong pagkakitaan or possible mong i-import papunta dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Paano ko yan nasabi? Kasi na-encounter ko din po yan during the time na nag-uumpisa pa lang akong mag-import. Actually, meron lang akong isang product noon na hinahanap na gusto kong i-import, but because of doing all the browsing sa Alibaba, sobrang daming opportunity na nakita ko na possible talaga siyang mag-click dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. And yes, kung ang tanong nyo if nakapag-import ba ako ng iba pang products, yes po. I was able to import multiple products na hindi ko ina-expect at all na mag-click. And nangyari lang siya or nagkaroon lang ako ng idea nung nakita ko na siya sa Alibaba at naaral ko po siya. Kaya don't worry if in case wala kayong idea pa kung ano yung gusto nyong product na i-import. Kasi maraming idea na papasok once na nag-browse through po kayo sa Alibaba dahil super dami ng product na available pagdating sa Alibaba. So, ano ba yung mga pwede nyong gamitin para makahanap kayo ng products? Una dyan yung search tab. Yung search tab is like yung ginagawa natin pag nag-online shopping tayo sa Shopee and sa Lazada, kung saan ini-enter lang natin yung product name and then ini-enter natin yung keywords that relates to that product. So, same thing pagdating sa Alibaba. Para sa akin, user-friendly ang Alibaba. Sa umpisa lang kayo medyo magkakaroon ng adjustment or parang medyo maguguluhan kasi nga nasa ibang platform kayo, pero parang same lang din siya on how we use Shopee and Lazada. It's just so happen na meron lang mga additional information or additional action na kailangan natin gawin since this is an importing process. Manggagaling sa ibang bansa yung product na bibilhin natin. And then another way para makahanap kayo ng product is through the image search. Yung image search actually available din to sa Lazada and sa Shopee. So I think most of us are aware kung paano siya ginagamit. Pero para sa mga hindi po aware, yung image search na ito, you just have to upload a picture ng product ng hinahanap ninyo. And then, lalabas lahat ng mga products na kamukha ng picture na yon. So, you can take advantage of this feature sa Alibaba if in case hindi mo alam yung tawag or pangalan ng item na hinahanap mo. Pero kung alam mo naman na yung tawag or item, pwede ka nang dumiretso sa search tab. Another way to find a supplier is through the RFQ process or yung tinatawag nating request for quotation. So, kung yung search tab and image search is like the manual process ng paghahanap ng mga product or item, yung RFQ naman is like the automated one. Kasi gagawin niyang mas easier yung paghahanap mo, which is you just have to specify kung ano yung hinahanap mo and then yung mga supplier or seller mismo yung magre-reply sa'yo or they will bid for your business. Sa RFQ, you have to fill out a form kung saan ilalagay mo lahat ng details ng product na hinahanap mo. Mamaya run through natin ng mabilis kung paano siya ginagawa sa Alibaba para meron tayong idea or para na-visualize natin kung paano ginagawa yung RFQ. So RFQ, kailangan as much as possible lahat ng details ilalagay mo, like customized product ba yung hinahanap mo, ano yung requirement mo if it's customized, and then ano yung target price mo, ano yung quantity or volume na kailangan mo, whether it is a monthly basis requirement, quarterly, or yearly basis. Kailangan lahat nandoon. As much as possible, lahat ng details ilagay mo kasi the suppliers will depend on what you have provided. Kung kulang yan, then medyo mahirapan din sila on their part na i-match yung mga requirement mo kasi nga kulang sa details. And tip ko lang sa inyo, make sure again na kompletuhin nyo yung details kasi yung mga suppliers na yan, especially malalaking suppliers, they will reply to those buyers or customers na merong detailed information kasi they are here for business. And syempre, kung ikaw naman din ang supplier, gusto mo yung talagang interested to get a business. So, dapat clear yung details nyo kasi meron din silang limit sa mga nire-replyan nila. Hindi nila pwedeng replyan lahat ng nagre-request ng quotation. Meron lang silang limit. And syempre, pi-filter din nila yon sa mga talagang interested ng business. Run through muna natin ng mabilis yung request for quotation para mas ma-visualize natin siya ng maigi. By the way, I am using my smartphone. Yes, pwede po kayong gumamit ng inyong mga cellphone. All you have to do is download the application Alibaba sa App Store or sa Play Store. So, dito, click nyo yung My Alibaba, yung mismong account ninyo, and then makikita nyo dyan yung request for quotation. Click nyo yung request for quotation, and then lalabas dyan yung post. Click natin yung post. And ito na yung tinatawag nating request for quotation form na kailangan yung i-fill out. Kailangan yung magbigay ng details about the product that you are looking for. So, nakalagay dyan, product name. So, kailangan mo ilagay yung name or keywords related to the product na hinahanap mo. And then, sourcing quantity. Ilan yung quantity kailangan mo. Yung unit of measure, pwede mo siyang palitan depende sa product na hinahanap mo. I-apply mo lang kung ano yung tamang unit of measure na kailangan for that specific product na hinahanap mo. So, ito na yung detailed requirements na sinasabi ko sa inyo wherein kailangan yung ilagay lahat ng information about that product. Whether it is a customized product, kung customized yan, ano yung exactly gusto mong ipa-customize? Yung fabric ba yan? Yung logo ba yan? Yung mismong style ng item or ng product? Lahat. As much as possible, lagay mo siya dyan sa requirements mo. And then, kung meron kang mga sample, much better kasi magkakaroon sila ng mas clear vision kung ano ba yung gusto mo sa products. Ayan, meron silang upload option dito sa request for quotation na pwede mong gamitin. And then, once ma-provide mo lahat ng details, then that's the time you can click this invite suppliers to quote. After 6 hours, ayan, makikita nyo, within 6 hours, makaka-receive kayo ng mga response from different suppliers. You can receive up to 15 quotes. Pero depende pa rin yan kasi minsan nga, sabi ko sa inyo, meron mga supplier na they filter kung sino yung re-replyan nila based on the information provided. Kasi nga, limited lang din yung pwede nilang replyan. So, that's how request for quotation works. I hope meron kayong natututunan as we go along with this video. Let's say for example, nakakita ka na ngayon ng product and ng supplier sa Alibaba. So, ano na yung next na dapat mong gawin? So, dyan papasok yung supplier assessment. Ayan, para dun sa mga nagbabalak mag-import. Again, this is a very important topic. So, please don't skip this video if you are planning to import soon or maybe in the future. Kasi this will help you minimize your risk. It can avoid stress and disappointments, which is ayaw talaga natin, may experience. Plus, it can save you time and money. And lagi nyo tandaan that having a good supplier can definitely help you succeed kung ano man yung business na naiisip nyo related sa importing. Paano ko siya ginagawa, ang supplier assessment? One way on how to assess the supplier is by asking the right questions. Bukod dun sa pag-check ng information nila or ng profile nila sa Alibaba, basic ang pag-ask ng question sa mga supplier na yan para ma-assess mo sila kung okay ba silang kausap, ine-entertain ka ba nila ng maayos, na-accommodate ba nila yung questions mo, mabilis ba silang sumagot, sumasagot ba sila, okay ba yung sagot nila. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer naman, pero mararamdaman mo kasi on how they answer if they are accommodating or if sila ay maayos kausap. Hindi naman kasi pwedeng, okay, maayos kang kausap ngayon, then after ng pag may problema na, hindi ka na maayos kausap, diba? Merong mga ganong scenario. And maybe you are thinking, ano yung right questions na dapat namin itanong? Based on my experience, ang tinatanong ko sa kanila is more on the quality of the product. You need to ask them the quality of the product. You can ask them to send you videos, pictures, also ask them the pricing. Kasi mapifeel mo if yung supplier has a good customer service or customer support on how they respond to your questions. Also, you have to ask the timeline of the delivery, especially if you are looking for a product na kailangan pang i-customize. And last but not the least na dapat mong i-clarify or itanong is about the after-sales service. Importante yan kasi hindi naman laging smooth ang proseso ng importing end-to-end. There are times na makaka-encounter ka ng issues and you have to ask them kung ano yung ginagawa nila if in case ma-encounter mo yung mga issues na yan. Like for example, ako na-encounter ko na iba yung pinadala sa akin based sa in-order ko. Or kulang yung quantity ng in-order ko. Merong mga sira, may damage. So, as much as possible, yan yung mga dapat mong tanungin sa kanila on how they handle those cases. Para at least ikaw din, mabuild mo yung trust mo sa kanila na, okay itong supplier na to kasi meron na silang mga experience about this certain cases na ito yung ginawa nila and pabor yun sa akin as a client or a customer. Siyempre, hard-earned money mo yung gagastusin mo dyan. Hindi naman yan pwedeng okay lang, thank you lang, or sorry, diba? So, yun yung mga questions na dapat nyong itanong sa supplier when doing this assessment. Next is through the product reviews. For sure ako, very familiar kayo dyan since we are also doing this when we are doing a online shopping, maybe using Lazada or Shopee, diba? Chine-check natin agad dyan. Kapag hindi natin kilala yung seller, ano yung reviews nito? Okay ba yung mga quality ng product? Same with Alibaba, pwede nating i-maximize yung feature ng product reviews kung saan makikita natin yung feedback ng mga previous customers or clients nila. However, heads up ko lang din kayo na huwag kayong masyadong magtiwala din sa product reviews ng 100%. Kasi there are cases na ini-strategize nila yan or meron silang tactic para magmukhang mataas yung reviews at yung mga magaganda lang yung nakikita ninyo. So, ayun, may experience na kasi ako kaya medyo alam ko how they do it para mas mukhang maganda sa paningin ng customers. But anyway, product reviews still helps. Hindi naman sa lahat ng pagkakataon ini-strategize nila. There are suppliers na merong ganong way na merong silang tactic kung paano nila patataasin yung reviews nila. Basta ang tip ko sa inyo is huwag kayong magtiwala 100% sa reviews. Maganda siya as your helping guide on choosing sa supplier niyo. And then we also have the seller badge. So, mapapansin nyo to sa mga sellers or suppliers sa Alibaba. There are different badge that you can see on their profile. So, actually, yung mga badge na yon, it will help you know what steps they took to prove that they are a trusted partner. Kasi yung mga badge na yon, meron yung mga requirements, meron yung mga bayad. Hindi yun basta hiningi lang or binigay lang ni Alibaba. Like for example, yung first badge na possible nyong makita, yung Gold Supplier Badge. So, this is a Alibaba members that have been verified as businesses with commercial or industrial capabilities. Ayan, mga malalaking company yan sila na kaya nilang mag-accommodate ng high volume quantity of orders. And again, sila ay nagpasa ng requirements para makapasa bilang gold supplier. Plus, they also have a ito, monthly payment. I'm not sure if monthly. Basta may payment sila dyan para makakuha sila ng gold supplier badge. Next is the verified seller. So, this is another badge na makikita nyo sa isang seller. This is a supplier whose company profile, management, production capabilities, product, and process have been assessed, certified, and inspected by third-party institutions. Sample niyan yung mga supplier na merong ISO certification. If you are familiar with ISO, third-party organization sila that have been established many years ago. They have the credibility and they are trusted among consumers, clients, and other business partners. Sila yung nagva-validate or nagko-confirm whether yung company na to or supplier na to is compliant sa global standards of quality assurance. Kaya maganda rin na meron kayong makitang certification for that supplier, or kung familiar kayo sa mga certification, maganda na hanapin nyo yan kasi makikita nyo dyan na compliant sila and nakapasa sila sa standards. Meaning to say, may quality talaga yung in-offer nila sa inyong whether it is a service or a product. And then last but not the least, which is the most important, is the Trade Assurance Supplier Badge. Ito naman yung mga supplier who accept payment through Alibaba, enabling Alibaba payment and order protection. Ito yung masasabi kong dapat nyong i-prioritize when choosing a supplier, especially if you are new sa pag-i-import, kasi this will give you peace of mind. This will protect you and your order from those people na, alam mo yon, hindi mo pagkakatiwalaan. Kasi kahit nasabihin mong nasa Alibaba ka at mga foreigner ang nandyan, hindi yan 100% na lahat legit. Meron pa rin mga scammers dyan. And I can attest to that kasi na-experience ko yon. Maybe I can share that story later on sa mga next topic natin. But again, trade assurance is very important. Kaya once you find a supplier, i-filter nyo na agad yung merong mga trade assurance badge para mawala na sa paningin nyo yung mga, minsan kasi marami pa dyang supplier na nakaka-tempt na i-negotiate kasi ang baba ng presyo, super baba ng presyo, pero wala silang trade assurance badge. X na agad yun. So, wag nyo nang i-entertain yun para hindi na rin kayo ma-tempt na, alam mo yon, makapag-transact sa mga hindi legit, baka mabiktima pa kayo. So, ayun yung mga assessment na ginagawa ko personally kung paano ako na pumipili ng mga supplier na kukuhanan ko ng products. Let's now continue the importing tutorials, and we are now at step number 2, and we will discuss what to negotiate during the product importing on Alibaba. Remember that it is crucial to know how to leverage your negotiating power para makuha mo yung best deal for the product that you are planning to import. By the way, I am sharing based on my knowledge and based on my experience. Ang negotiation po will vary depending on the product that you are looking for, as well as it will depend on you. Maybe sa'yo, there are things that you need to negotiate kasi importante yon, and possible sa akin hindi, and vice versa. Kasi iba-iba tayo ng negotiation strategy. And reminder lang before we start, make sure to keep your conversation and communication 100% in Alibaba platform or yung dun sa message center nila, kasi hindi nila ma-access whatever communication you have with your supplier outside Alibaba. It's okay if your supplier wanted to send pictures or videos via WhatsApp or Viber kasi medyo matagal mag-load sa Alibaba. Okay lang yun as long as you make sure na lahat ng importanteng bagay na napag-agrihan nyo are also documented through the Alibaba platform or dun sa message center nila. Okay, proceed na tayo. Ano-ano nga ba yung dapat nating i-negotiate? I am sharing with you in general kung ano yung i-negotiate ko kapag ako ay nag-i-import. Number 1 na ni-negotiate ko ay yung free sample. Ako kasi as an importer, I wanted an actual sample ng product na gusto kong i-import. Yes, they can send you all those videos and pictures, but for me, gusto ko talagang nakikita yung actual bago ako mag-decide na i-import siya. Most of the suppliers naman is pumapayag ng free sample, lalo na kung hindi naman ganun ka-expensive yung item na gusto mong i-import. Although, ikaw as an importer or client nila, ikaw yung mag-shoulder nung shipping cost. Ang ginagamit ko is yung UPS, yung express shipping nila around 5 to 7 days, marireceive mo na yung free sample. You can also use yung Ninja Van, mas mura siya compare sa UPS. However, mas matagal yung turnaround time nila sa delivery, but I'm not sure kung magkano na yung rate nila at this moment. Sa UPS, yung isang pouch, kasi naalala ko, yung free sample sa akin ng supplier ko is mga kids clothings. So, isang pouch yon nasa around 2,500 yung binayaran ko. And that's, for me, okay lang yung 2,500. Kesa naman mag-invest ako ng malaking amount and then pagdating pala dito ng product is hindi ko gusto yung quality. So, that's part of the cost or part of the investment, yung free sample to make sure the quality of the product na gusto mong i-import. Alright? Yan. Para sa mga katulad ko, again, na hindi magaling kumilates ng video and picture, pwede kayong mag-negotiate ng free sample. And then next that I negotiate is the product price. Sa product price, keep in mind that you can only negotiate on the base price. Meaning to say po, you have to do your research and check the market price. Hindi porket nakita mo sa product listing ng supplier, naka $2 siya, for example, and then na-negotiate mo ng $1, super happy mo na. Hindi siya ganon. You have to check the market price, do your research, and consider all the other fees. So, ano yung mga fees na yan na sinasabi ko? Meron pong transaction fees ang Alibaba. You also have to consider the foreign exchange rate. Kasi iba-iba yan, especially if you are using credit card. Pwedeng sa credit card na to is mababa or pwedeng sa isang credit card mas mataas yung exchange rate. So, you have to check that. Also, you have to check the shipping cost. Yung shipping cost, tatlo yan. From supplier warehouse or supplier factory going to your freight forwarder. So, that's one shipping cost. And then, second shipping cost from freight forwarder ninyo going here sa Pilipinas. So, that's second. And last but not the least na shipping cost is from the warehouse here sa Pilipinas going to your location. So, you have to consider all those things bago kayo makipag-negotiate ng presyo. We will have a separate video for that topic para ma-breakdown natin siya isa-isa. Basta i-check nyo yung importing playlist natin every now and then. And please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell para lagi kayong updated once I uploaded a video tutorial. Alright, so next thing that I also negotiate is the MOQ or the minimum order quantity. Doon sa mga previous videos ko, nabanggit ko na sa inyo na huwag nyo masyadong bigyang pansin yung price and MOQ kasi pwede nyo talaga siyang i-negotiate. Pero syempre, tiyaga pa rin yan and you have to do your best in negotiation. Story time muna, I actually have this product na nakuha ko at the fair price, hindi siya mismo yung gusto kong price, fair price lang, pero na-deal ko yun after almost 3 months. Kasi ang taas ng MOQ requirement niya bago niya mabigay yung price na fair lang. Hindi pa nga yun yung gusto ko, fair price lang. Pero yun nga, because of negotiation, nakuha ko siya. Ano yung ginawa kong strategy? Actually, strategy ko doon is naging honest lang ako na I cannot accommodate yung minimum order quantity requirement nila kasi wala akong malaking space para doon. So, I think naintindihan naman nila, plus I am starting my business for that particular product. Kaya medyo hesitant pa akong kumuha ng ganoon kalaking quantity. And I also tell them na I have this business page that has this followers, yung number of followers na potential customers ko. And then from there naman, nagkaroon ng nagkaroon ng progress yung negotiation. Yung negotiation na yun, hindi yun everyday ha. Babalikan ko siya after a week, ganun, after 5 days, sasabihin ko ganyan, and then siguro nakita niya na I'm really interested to get that product, so pumayag siya sa lower minimum order quantity. Ayun nga, chinaga ko kasi siya lang yung nakita kong merong ganong product, at the same time, maayos siyang kausap. And honest din siya. So, be open to your supplier suggestion as well. Isa yan sa magiging tip ko sa inyo. Pakinggan nyo rin sila kasi experienced suppliers, mostly ang nandyan sa Alibaba, yung mga talagang legit supplier. Kaya, meron kayong matututunan at may makukuha kayong mga strategy coming from them. Okay? So, next na pwede nyong i-negotiate is the shipping cost. So, yung shipping cost nito will cover yung shipping from your supplier factory going to freight forwarder warehouse. So, yun yung pwede nyong i-negotiate. Either pwede siyang free shipping or discounted yung shipping cost nyo. So, madalas naman pumapayag sila ng free shipping. Base experience ko ha. Lalo na pag madami yung orders mo. And another tip ko sa inyo, kumuha kayo ng freight forwarder na merong warehouse malapit sa supplier nyo. Para at least mas madali silang mag-decide or mag-grant yung free shipping na nire-request nyo or nine-negotiate nyo sa kanila. Alright? So, next thing that I also negotiate is the delivery timeline. Before, hindi ko naiisip tong i-negotiate at all, pero because of experiencing things, importante pala to know the delivery schedule. Kasi I remember at that time, umorder ako ng product, yun, nag-i-import ako ng product, and then sabi ko after 7 days, chinek ko yung status ng order link ko, and nagulat ako, hindi umaandar at all, walang kahit anong update. And then upon checking sa supplier, nakalagay dun sa order link ko, which na-miss ko talaga siya, 30 days pa pala bago i-ship. Diba? So, dahil hindi nakalimutan ko or hindi ko na-negotiate yung delivery schedule, natulog yung capital ko dun sa order na yon, kasi I paid it via credit card. Meaning to say, bago pa dumating or bago pa nila ma-process yung shipment from their factory going to the freight forwarder, mag-June na agad yung credit card ko kasi 30 days pa bago nila yun isi-ship, na hindi ko siya napansin doon sa order link at hindi ko siya nasama sa negotiation. So, ayan, isama nyo siya when doing the negotiation para clear sa inyo at yung expectation nyo is ma-meet nila. Next that we need to negotiate is the Incoterms. So, this is the international commercial terms, and this will determine kung sino yung accountable or yung responsible dun sa product during the shipment process. Like, for example, once the supplier shipped out the product and then nakarating siya sa inyong freight forwarder, possible na hanggang dun lang yung responsibility nila. So, that will depend kung ano yung Incoterms na napag-usapan nyo. Na once yung product dumating ng maayos sa freight forwarder, anuman ang mangyari doon, labas na sila. Kasi hanggang dun lang yung responsibility nila based dun sa Incoterms na pinag-usapan nyo. Pwede rin naman ang Incoterms from the seller factory up to makarating dapat sa inyo maayos yung product. Kasi yun yung base sa Incoterms na napag-usapan ninyo. Kaya yan yung mga importanteng bagay na dapat alamin nyo or dapat aralin nyo as an importer, kasi pag nagkaroon ng problema, for example, doon sa ship, kung saan nilagay lahat ng cargo, lumubog yung barko, then kapag ang Incoterms na nakalagay sa inyo is yung supplier hanggang freight forwarder lang yung responsibility, hindi niya nasasagutin or wala kang refund na makukuha. Kasi nga, yun yung based on your agreement or your contract. Pero wag kayong mag-alala, so far naman wala namang lumulubog na barko. So, ayun. Wag kayong masyadong mag-worry about that. And then next that you have to negotiate is the payment. Ayan, especially if you are eyeing for a customized product, pwede kayong mag-down payment muna. Pwede hindi buong amount yung ibigay nyo sa kanila. Kasi meron pang may process kapag customized, 'di ba? Pwedeng down kayo ng 10%, 20%, depende kung ano yung mapag-aagrihan yung dalawa ng supplier. But ayun, I just would like to share with you na yes, yung payment, pwede nyo siyang i-negotiate. Especially if matagal pa nilang isi-ship yung product nyo. Para at least hindi matulog yung capital ninyo. Pwede nyong paikutin sa ibang bagay. Another thing that you can negotiate is the production update. Again, more on ito ay for customized product. Para at least alam nyo kung ano yung progress ng customization request nyo with the supplier. Pwede kayong mag-set ng date at ano yung dapat na expected na matapos nila with regards to the production update. Last but not the least that you have to negotiate is the customer support and resolutions. Actually, more on asking them kung ano yung support na pwede mong ma-expect coming from your supplier and ano yung possible solution nila if you encounter issues na naiisip mo regarding the product that you wanted to import. Ako, example ko dyan is, since nag-import ako ng mga damit pambata, ang support na kailangan ko sa kanila is, I needed all the pictures, clear pictures ng lahat ng designs na kinuha ko with all the sizes and also yung mga different angles na pwede kong gamitin for marketing purposes. Ayun, yung support na hiningi ko coming from my supplier. And also, I asked them to give me all the new designs na meron sila, i-update nila ako kung ano yung mga designs or kung ano yung mga hot products right now sa China, ganyan, para at least meron akong heads up, kumbaga, kung ano yung mga possible ko pang ma-import at mabenta dito sa Pilipinas. Again, reminder to everyone na mag-negotiate, make sure to keep your communication 100% within the Alibaba Message Center kasi napaka-importante na nandiyan lahat ng usapan nyo para kung meron mang mangyari at hindi kayo magkasundo bigla lang supplier nyo, meron kayong babalikan na, okay, ito yung napag-agrihan natin, ito yung napag-agrihan namin at kayo yung papanigan ng Alibaba if you are filing for a refund or for a compensation. And we are now at step number 3 of our importing tutorials. And ang topic natin for this video is about purchase order, invoice, plus kung ano ba yung dapat nyong i-check bago kayo magbayad sa inyong supplier. Again, this video tutorial is all based on my knowledge and experience on how I do importing. Hindi po ako expert. I would just really like to put the information out there hoping na merong matulungan. Just a quick recap lang, yung step number 2 natin, we do the negotiation, right? So, let's assume na meron tayong agreement with the supplier. Ano yung next na dapat natin gawin? Well, the next step should be documenting the agreement through the use of purchase order. Yung purchase order na yan will serve as a legal and structured document that outlines whatever you have agreed. Ikaw as an importer at yung supplier na napili mo. Hindi pwedeng dahil nag-usap na kayo sa message center or dun sa Alibaba at nagkasundo kayo doon is okay na. Babayaran mo na siya agad. It's a no-no. Kahit na nagsisimula ka pa lang, I highly encourage you to do this step, to create a purchase order kasi napaka-importante niya. Well, bakit siya importante? Share ko na rin sa inyo bago tayo mag-proceed dun sa ating purchase order. Purchase order is important for me kasi this will be a guiding material kung ano-ano ba yung dapat nyong i-check bago kayo magbayad sa supplier ninyo. To make sure na wala kayong ma-miss na mga importanteng detalye. Like dun sa sinample ko sa inyo from my previous video, 'di ba? Nalimutan ko yung delivery timeline which cost me a lot of money. I mean, hindi naman nalugi yung pera pero sayang, hindi ko na maximize yung power ng capital ko because of missing that information. Next is to minimize your risk. Ayan, isa yan sa mga main benefit of having a purchase order. It helps you reduce risk throughout the ordering process kasi you are providing the detailed information about your transaction sa iyong supplier. And by doing that, you are eliminating any potential misunderstandings. Kasi kung nasa message center lang kayo, possible na meron kayong makaligtaan, and same with the supplier, possible na meron silang makalimutan dun sa inyong agreement kapag yan hindi naka-outline sa purchase order. Kasi sa purchase order, you are going to specify the exact details ng order mo. Later on, check natin isa-isa kung ano yung mga details na nilalagay ko. And with that, you can assure that the parties involved, kung marami mang suppliers ang involved, they understand and they know the responsibilities. Kasi, susundin talaga nila yung nasa purchase order mo, or else baka mag-file ka ng refund or disputes, 'di ba? Ayaw nilang mangyari yon kasi loss nila yon pag nagkataon. Kaya importante yung purchase order. Another importance ng purchase order is for your future reference. Kasi ako, since nag-i-import ako ng iba't ibang product, I need help from other people, especially in inventory, kapag nag-check na if tama ba lahat ng na-receive kong design, sizes, styles, whatever, kung ano man yung in-import ko. By having purchase order, pwede ko nang i-let go yon, yung process na yon, na hindi na kailangan nandun pa ako nag-i-inventory. Kasi they can reference to the purchase order na ginawa ko, na okay, itong design na to, kailangan may ma-receive kaming 100 pieces. Mga ganong example. And last but not the least na importance na naisip ko with having a purchase order is like you are creating an impression sa iyong supplier. Impression na you are really doing your business seriously, plus you know what you are doing. Kasi, kumbaga, pinapractice mo na, hindi ka pa man malaki, pinapractice mo na yung standard way of doing or ordering a product. So, yun yung mga importance ng purchase order. Now, proceed naman tayo sa sample purchase order. Actually, there's no extravagant way or standard way on how I do purchase order. I will show you later on kung ano yung itsura niya. But, for now, isa-isahin natin yung details na nilalagay ko sa purchase order para mas magkaroon ng sense kung bakit ko ba ito ginagawa at bakit ko sinama sa step ng ating importing. Yung first details na nilalagay ko is the PO number. PO number, pwedeng kayo nang gumawa niyan. Gumagawa lang ako ng PO number para lang for monitoring purposes na okay, nakailang imports na ako sa supplier na to or nakailang purchase na ako sa kanila. Mas madali ko siyang matrack kasi meron akong PO number. Plus, the PO date, kung kailan ko gagawin yung purchase order. Ito yung mga makikita nyong details. These details, pwede nyo siyang dagdagan, pwedeng bawasan, depende sa requirement nyo, whichever is applicable. Again, there's no standard way of doing this. For me, kasi ang pinaka-main purpose ko dito is to ensure na align kami ng supplier sa product na in-order ko and to make sure na i-deliver nila kung ano yung napag-agrihan namin. Next is the product name, kung ano yung in-order mo, of course. Order quantity, unit of measure, don't forget kasi there are products na naka-box. So, ilan dapat yung quantity na laman niya sa loob? Naka-packaging pa ba yan sa loob? You have to make sure na detailed lahat ng information para wala ring maging problema, maging smooth yung transaction ninyo ng iyong supplier. Product price, kung ano yung napag-agrihan ninyo. Product specification like designs, styles, sizes, lahat ng dapat nyong ilagay dyan na specification na napag-agrihan nyo, dapat nasa purchase order. Kung yan ba ay naka-packaging ng per piece or naka-packaging ng per dozen, you have to put that in the product specifications. Packaging, like I've mentioned earlier, kailangan nakalagay din dyan yung packaging para hindi rin kayo ma-surprise at alam din talaga ng supplier ninyo na, okay, ito yung napag-usapan namin, so ito yung na-expect nila, so you have to deliver that. Shipping cost, kung ano man yung napag-usapan nyo, whether it is a free shipping or discounted shipping, lagay nyo yan dyan. Discounts, kung may mga discounts silang offer sa inyo, make sure na wag nyong kalimutan yan. Free sample product, ginagawa ko to kasi minsan, merong mga supplier na meron silang bagong launch na product. So, what will I do is to get a sample or free sample from them, tapos isasama na nila doon sa purchase order ko. Para lang wala na akong additional shipping cost na babayaran. Though medyo matagal lang siya kasi dadaan siya via sea. Hindi to express shipping. Pero at least naka-free shipping na ako kasi isasabay ko na lang sa order ko. And then shipping days, you have to include that on the purchase order para align kayo kung until when yung deadline din nila sa pag-ship ng orders ninyo. Shipping code and shipping address, ito manggagaling to sa freight forwarder nyo. We will have a separate video about the freight forwarder, so please check our importing tutorial playlist para makita nyo lahat ng details about importing. And then, next is the payment breakdown. Ayan, meron akong payment breakdown na ginagawa kasi, lalo na kapag malaki yung amount, hindi kaya ng isang credit card ko na bayaran siya. So, I have to use another card. Kaya nagkakaroon ako ng payment breakdown para rin align sa kanila kung hanggang magkano lang sa payment link yung gagawin nila. Talking about payment link, don't worry, I will discuss that as well to all of you. Step by step tayo para hindi tayo maguluhan at organize tayo when we absorb information. Next is actual sample from supplier. Ayan, ini-include ko yan. Actually, picture lang naman yung ilalagay ko doon na ito yung actual sample na na-receive ko. So, I expect na yung in-order ko sa yung high volume quantity is has the same quality, has the same packaging nung na-receive ko sa sample mo. Kasi merong ibang supplier dyan, pag sample, ang ganda, pero pagdating na nung actual order mo na napakadami, nag-iiba yung quality. I just wanted to make sure na whatever sample na pinrovide mo sa akin is the same product na makukuha ko once na dumating yung aking orders. Kaya nilalagay ko rin siya sa aking purchase order. Again, pwedeng madagdagan, pwedeng mabawasan yung order details dito, depende sa inyong i-import na product. Alright, I just providing you in general kung ano yung mga nilalagay kong details sa aking purchase order. Here's the sample PO for Hilton Pillow double lining with handbag, which I import from last year. Isa-isahin natin ngayon kung ano yung mga details na nandito. Again, there's no extravagant way on how should you do the purchase order. Pwede nyo siyang gawin, depende kung saan yung mas madali sa inyo, pero ako ginagawa ko siya through the use of Excel file. Makikita nyo dito, may PO date kung kailan ko ginawa yung purchase order na to. Delivery address, ito yung warehouse ng freight forwarder ko. Kasi yung freight forwarder ko, they have different warehouse and I selected the Yiwu warehouse dahil ito yung mas malapit sa aking supplier para makuha ko yung free shipping nila to my freight forwarder. Seller contact, ito yung kausap ko from the supplier side. Client code and client name is actually, ito po yung information about my client na umu-order ng Hilton Pillow. Kasi pagdating yan sa Pilipinas, automatic release na rin yan dahil may order na yan, which is my client. And then we also have here the supplier code. Yung supplier code naman, kasi I'm trying to do a database para sa lahat ng mga supplier na nakatransact ko na at the same time, alam ko na they offer a quality product para at least meron kaming reference whenever we wanted to do an import again or to have a repeat order sa kanila. PO number to monitor the imports na ginagawa namin. And yes, ayan, product name plus style, kailangan nandyan yan. And then colors, since different colors available ang Hilton Pillow. I also indicated here the size and weight kasi ito yung napag-usapan naming quality ng Hilton Pillow ng aking kliyente. So, they expected na dapat ang weight niyan is 1,000 grams and then the size is 48 by 74 cm. Kasi merong mga Hilton pillows na lumalabas na 750 grams lang. And mas mababa yung pricing nun, yes, kasi nga 750 grams lang, pero the quality will suffer and ayaw yun ng aking client. Gusto niya yung 1,000 grams. And then we have here the quantity, the amount in USD per piece, and then the total amount. Ayan, nakalagay yan dito sa aking purchase order. And you can see here the shipping cost is free dahil nga malapit lang yung supplier ko dun sa warehouse na pagdideliveran nila. And this one, itong highlighted in yellow, these are the codes that you needed para ma-identify ng freight forwarder mo na para sa'yo yung ma-receive nila. Again, we will have a separate video regarding freight forwarder, so feel free to check our importing tutorial playlist para mas mag-gets ninyo kung ano yung mga sinasabi ko. Since maraming information, we have to create a playlist para organize tayo at pwede nyong puntahan lang kung ano yung sa tingin nyong kailangan nyong ma-refresh ng knowledge. And then, we have here the shipping address. Shipping address to ng aking freight forwarder. Kung saan dadalhin ng aking supplier yung Hilton pillows. And we also have here the payment breakdown. So, ginagamit ko yung payment breakdown, especially if I have a limited funds available sa aking mga credit cards para hindi siya ma-decline. Like for example, first link niyan, 1,000 lang ilagay mo. Second link, $484 lang ang ilagay mo. Para alam na agad ng supplier na, okay, ito yung gagawin niyang payment link. Hindi na kailangan ng back and forth messages na naman na, pakibago nga to kasi ito lang yung kaya ng cards ko. Diba? Para din hindi na kayo mag-aksaya ng oras. As well as here, you can see a picture of the Hilton pillows and the handbag. Para din clear sa kanila na ito yung mga colors na kailangan ko sa Hilton pillows and hindi nila makalimutan that it includes handbag. Ayan. Ito yung sample ng purchase order. Again, you can modify this. You can add details na sa tingin mo kailangan mo. Depende kasi yan kung ano yung product na i-import. You are wondering kung ano yung i-discuss natin about invoice. Actually, nilagay ko lang yung invoice sa title para lang i-remind kayo na once you create a purchase order, the supplier must provide an invoice to confirm na yes, eto nga yung napag-usapan natin. Kasi sa invoice na yan, magre-reflect din yung mga details na nilagay mo sa purchase order. Kaya don't forget to ask for the invoice sa inyong supplier kasi confirmation yan na naintindihan nila kung ano yung i-deliver nila sa iyo. Ibig sabihin, you are aligned, the same kayo ng expectation, nag-agree kayo na ito lahat ng specification and details na i-deliver nila sa inyo.
We are now at step number 4. Originally, karugtong po ito dapat ng step number 3 natin about the purchase order. But then, I realized kasi na dapat separate topic to ensure na hindi kayo malito. At the same time, yung mga zero knowledge sa importing, mas mabilis nilang masundan kung paano yung proseso ng pag-i-import. Again, everybody, I am sharing based on my experience. So, feel free to check other resources as well kung meron kayong doubts and sa tingin nyo meron kayong information na hindi nakuha from these tutorials. But feel free to comment on our video if you have any questions or maybe suggested topic na gusto nyo pang i-discuss natin further with regards to importing tutorials. So, let's have this step number 4. Step number 4 is about receiving of invoice and payment link from our supplier. Plus, discuss na rin natin kung ano yung mga dapat nating i-review before tayong magbayad sa ating supplier. Recall lang natin yung step number 3 kung saan gumawa tayo ng purchase order. Doon natin dinocument yung napag-agrihan natin with our supplier. So, ano yung next na gagawin natin once okay na yung purchase order or once tapos na natin siyang magawa? The next thing that you need to do is, of course, you have to message your supplier. Ibigay mo sa kanya yung purchase order mo. Parang ganito, "Hi supplier ABC, here's my purchase order. Please review and let me know if it's okay with you. If yes, kindly send me an invoice so we can proceed in payment processing. Mga ganyang linya. Ang gusto lang naman nating makuha doon is yung invoice na based sa ating purchase order. Para lang to align na parehas kayo ng understanding dun sa ino-order nyo with your supplier. Once na mag-provide sila sa inyo ng invoice, then that's the time na i-review nyo yung invoice. Your invoice must reflect yung mga important details na nasa purchase order nyo, such as quantity, pricing, specification, delivery address, timeline of delivery, and etc. Basta yung mga importanteng detalye dapat nasa invoice yan to make sure na align kayo ng iyong supplier sa i-deliver nila sa inyong product. And then once ma-review nyo yung invoice and okay na kayo doon, inform nyo lang din yung supplier ninyo na okay na kayo with the invoice, let's proceed na sa payment processing. Ano-ano nga ba yung dapat nyong i-review before nyong bayaran ang inyong supplier? Additional review ito since we are reviewing the payment link na kung saan kayo magbabayad. Number 1 dyan is yung product image na nakalagay sa payment link. Make sure na kung ano yung order yung product, yun din yung product image na nandun. Mamaya umorder kayo ng laptop, tas nakalagay doon is mga bags. Magkaiba, diba? So make sure na tama para align dun sa order ninyo. Next is don't forget the attachment. I-request ninyo sa inyong supplier na once na gumawa sila ng payment link kung saan kayo magbabayad, kailangan naka-attach doon either the PO or the invoice kasi nandun mismo lahat ng details and specification na napag-usapan nyo at napag-agrihan ninyo. Huwag kayong papayag na hindi yan naka-attach. Napakadali lang i-attach yan. Mabilis nila yung pwedeng i-attach. Kaya make sure na before kayong magbayad, yung attachment na yan, again, either purchase order or invoice, are on the payment link. And then next is the shipping days. Ayan, makikita nyo yan sa order details nyo, yung shipping terms, nandyan yung shipping method, shipping fee, shipping date, ship from what country, and then shipping address. Nandyan lahat yan. So you have to make sure to check it. And then, yung trade terms and Incoterms, makikita nyo rin yan sa order link. So, check nyo rin yan. And then, clarify nyo sa inyong supplier kung ano yung Incoterms na yan if hindi nyo maintindihan. Though, nakalagay naman na dyan yung explanation ng Incoterms na nasa order link ninyo. And then, yung trade assurance, make sure na kayo ay magbabayad via trade assurance payment link. Super duper importante lalo na if you are a beginner sa pag-i-import. Siguro kung master mo na talaga at pinagkakatiwalaan mo na yung supplier mo, maybe you can do a transaction outside Alibaba para hindi ka na mabawasan ng transaction fee. However, again, if you are just a beginner and gusto mo talaga ng peace of mind, use the trade assurance. Make sure na sa trade assurance payment link po kayo magbabayad. Paano mo yan malalaman? Punta ka lang sa pinakadulo, makikita mo tong protection on this order with trade assurance. From there pa lang malalaman mo na agad na you are paying via trade assurance. Then next that you have to check is the shipping address just to make sure na tama yung shipping address na pagdadalhan ng order ninyo kasi possible na magkamali rin ang inyong supplier dahil marami silang ine-entertain na clients. Though kaya naman nila yan i-resolve agad-agad pero just to make the process efficient, i-check nyo yan para hindi na magkaroon ng further delays. Kapag yung shipping address hindi nyo maintindihan kasi nasa ibang language siya, punta lang kayo sa Google, translate nyo lang. Napakadali lang naman mag-translate. And also, if kayo ay now overwhelmed or maybe nai-intimidate na mag-import kasi feeling nyo hindi kayo magaling mag-English, guys, nasa advanced technology na tayo. So, you can do all the translation na kailangan nyo kung hindi nyo maintindihan yung supply nyo or hindi nyo alam kung paano nyo sasabihin. Humingi kayo ng tulong from your friends, from your family, 'di ba? Easy lang yan, huwag nyong gawing hindrance yung language para hindi kayo makapag-push through kung ano man yung naiisip nyong business. Lahat yan merong solusyon. You just have to take action. Alright, so next that you need to check as well is the quantity and the amount payable para lang to make sure na tama yung pricing at yung babayaran nyo sa Alibaba. At hindi kayo makapagbayad ng sobra. Okay lang kung less yung babayaran nyo, pero pag sobra, syempre, sayang yun, baka malugi kayo, or sayang, instead na maging profit nyo siya, mababawas pa. So, double check the price as well as the quantity of your order. Yan yung mga kailangan nyong i-check before kayong magbayad sa Alibaba. So, mostly naman kasi nasa invoice na yan, nasa PO nyo na. Kaya, yun lang yung mga dapat nyong i-double check. For me, again guys, if you know things na sa tingin nyo dapat pa nating i-check before tayong magbayad, feel free to comment sa ating video. Hindi ako expert dito. I am sharing based on my experience and based on my knowledge. Kung sa tingin nyo, meron din kayong pwedeng i-share sa akin, I really appreciate that kasi gusto ko rin matuto. I want to learn from you and I hope meron po kayong natututunan with our tutorials. Again, if you have any suggested topics na gusto nyo pang matutunan natin or maybe you would like me to discuss, let me know. Push through na tayo sa step number 5. We are now at step number 5 of our importing tutorials and our topic is regarding what to do after we pay in Alibaba. So, from the previous video natin, or yung step number 4 natin, diniscuss natin doon kung ano yung mga dapat nating additional steps to check before we pay our supplier. And this time around naman, magpo-focus tayo ano yung dapat nating gawin after nating magbayad sa Alibaba. Well, personally ako, ang una ko talagang ginagawa after kong magbayad sa Alibaba is to expand assurance. Anong ibig sabihin ng expand assurance? You will be extending the receiving time of your order na sinet ng inyong supplier. Gumawa ako ng table dito para mas ma-explain ko hopefully ng malinaw sa inyo and you will understand the benefit of expanding the assurance. So, first column natin, makikita nyo yung receiving time set by supplier. Usually, siniset nila to ng 15 days. Pero, pwede nyo rin siyang ipaset ng up to 30 days. But, all depends to the negotiation na ginawa ninyo. Again, pwede nyong i-negotiate yung sa tingin nyong importante. If this receiving time is important to you, then go ahead, negotiate nyo siya. And then, gumawa ako dito ng question. Expand assurance, is it yes or no? Para lang meron tayong clear comparison. Kapag kayo po ay nag-expand ng assurance, automatic, meron kayong additional 15 days na madadagdag sa inyong receiving time. Either you or your supplier can extend the receiving time. Pero ako, naging practice ko na automatic after kong magbayad sa Alibaba, kiklik ko yung receiving time para magkaroon ako ng additional 15 days. If hindi kayo nag-click ng extend receiving time, syempre, walang any extension. So, original pa rin na receiving time magpo-fall, which is yung 15 days lang. Maybe ang question nyo ngayon, kailan mag-start yung 15 days? Yung 15 days na to, mag-start po ito once na-receive na ng inyong freight forwarder yung order. So, coming from your supplier, going to your freight forwarder, wherein nasa China pa rin yun. Kaya, mabilis lang naman din talaga yung shipment. Especially if within the area lang sila or within the city lang. Itong 15 days nito, once na mag-expired to, automatic, your order will change to completed status. Pag completed status na, doon naman mag-uumpisa yung inyong trade assurance order protection, which is 30 days. Kapag kayo po ay pro buyer or under platinum category na yung account nyo, that would be 60 days. Pero if kayo ay bago pa lang, of course, nandito pa rin kayo sa level na 30 days yung allowed time ninyo to do the inventory or para maghintay ng shipments, i-check kung yan ba ay may damage. Kasi within 30 days na yan ng assurance ninyo, dapat makapag-file na kayo ng compensation or refund if in case kailangan. So, imagine if hindi kayo nag-extend ng inyong receiving time. Meron lang kayong 45 days para mag-check ng order ninyo. Given na kapag nag-import kayo, minsan umaabot yan ng 45 days. Bakit? There are some cases kasi na merong problema sa customs or merong problema sa port, congested yung port, kaya natatagalan yung import na dumating sa atin. Unlike kapag nag-extend kayo ng inyong receiving time, meron kayong 60 days. Imagine, meron kayong additional 15 days. Kung worst comes to worst na maging 45 days bago dumating yung import dito sa Pilipinas or sa inyo, still, meron kayong 15 days para gawin yung necessary quality checking nyo or yung inventory ninyo. Kaya, for me, importante na meron kayong extension ng receiving time. So, wag nyo siyang kakalimutan after nyo magbayad. Balik kayo sa order link nyo. Click nyo lang yung extend receiving time. Super dali lang naman nun. Wala pang 1 minute. Matatapos nyo siya. Kasi this will be an additional protection for your end. Lalo na kung bago pa lang kayo sa pag-i-import. Para hindi kayo natataranta na, ay naku, hindi ko pa nagagawa yung inventory ko and so on. Hindi ko pa check yung mga product kung tama ba based sa in-order ko kasi limited na lang yung time available mo kasi nga possible na na-delay yung dating ng import mo. So, that's the importance of extending the receiving time or having to expand the assurance after you pay the supplier. Again, remind ko lang kayo that yung 15 days mag-start to after ma-deliver sa inyong freight forwarder. So, there will be a proof tracking number na ilalagay that you can access sa order link din para nakikita nyo doon agad ilang days na lang yung natitira sa inyo before the trade assurance order protection expired, including the receiving time set by supplier plus the extension na ginawa ninyo. So again, kapag kayo ay nag-extend ng receiving time, 60 days yung magiging timeline ninyo. So napakahaba and which is good kasi nga we never know kung kailan magkakaroon ng delay. And then kapag wala naman 45 days, so sayang yung 15 days na possible nyong maging time to do the quality check and inventory of your product. So that's how Expand Assurance works in Alibaba. Again guys, I am sharing based on my experience. If you think na meron kayong mga information na hindi nakukuha with our tutorials, feel free to check other resources or maybe comment kayo sa ating video so I know na meron kayong mga questions that maybe I could create another tutorial for that if alam ko kung paano ko siya i-discuss sa inyo.
Share ko na rin sa inyo ng mabilis kung paano siya ginagawa sa Alibaba. How do you extend the receiving time for your trade assurance orders? Step number 1 is, punta lang kayo sa all orders para makita nyo lahat ng orders nyo doon. And then, makikita nyo agad doon yung word na extend receiving time. Once na kinlik nyo yan, automatic magpa-pop up itong view na to sa inyo. So, this is the view from the app. Pwede nyo rin siyang makita via desktop or laptop. Same ano lang naman information. So, once you click the extend receiving time, there will be a system reminder that will say na yung delivery time will be extended for another 15 days. So, all you have to do is confirm the extension. Ganun lang siya kabilis. After expanding the assurance or extending the receiving time, ano yung next kong ginagawa? Ang next ko pong ginagawa is ini-inform ko na yung freight forwarder ko. Ini-inform ko siya with all the details of my import, such as ilang sako ba yun, or ilang CBM, ilang boxes yung marireceive nila sa kanilang warehouse, and saang warehouse ko siya pinadeliver, plus ano yung code na ginamit ko. So, yun yung mga information na binibigay ko with my freight forwarder para at least meron silang heads up na, okay, may marireceive ako from Jenny na ganitong mga imports. Kasi once na na-receive nila yon, nagbibigay din sila ng feedback sa akin.
na na-receive na nila, and then from there, malalaman ko na kung magkano yung amount na babayaran ko sa kanila once na dumating dito yun sa Pilipinas. So, yun yung next na ginagawa ko. Ini-inform ko yung aking freight forwarder. And then last but not the least, after I pay my supplier, ang next thing to do ko is the marketing strategy. Of course, kasi waiting game na eh. At least 1 month yung binibigay kong time sa importing given na may delay. Pero pag walang delay, minsan nare-receive ko yan within 20 days lang. Pag talagang smooth yung process sa importing. So, with that time frame, anong ginagawa ko? Of course, I need to focus on sales. Kailangan as much as possible, pagdating ng imports ko, lahat yon mabebenta ko na. Or kung hindi man, konti lang yung matitira, iikot agad yung puhunan. So, yun yung kailangan nyong gawin. Of course, bago naman kayong nag-import, kailangan inaral yung in-import nyo. Hindi yan pwedeng after the fact. Kailangan, bago kayo nag-import, nag-aral na kayo, ano yung magagawin yung strategy. Etong after payment natin, nagagawin, which is the marketing strategy, more on continuation to nung strategy natin talaga from the start na inaral natin bago tayo mag-import ng mga products. Finally po, nasa last part na tayo or final step na tayo ng ating importing tutorials, and that will focus on receiving of your imports. From our previous step na mention ko na sa inyo na from the supplier factory, i-deliver nila yung mga import products nyo papunta sa inyong freight forwarder warehouse. And then yung freight forwarder naman yung magiging responsible na idala yan dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Ang kagandahan kapag meron kayong partner freight forwarder, sila na yung bahalang mag-asikaso ng mga documents like yung para sa customs and para sa mga taxes. Again, I will be sharing a separate information or video about freight forwarder. So, make sure na nakasubscribe po kayo and click the notification bell para updated kayo once na mag-provide ako or mag-upload ako ng new tutorial sa ating channel. And also, don't hesitate na i-check yung ating importing tutorial playlist. Baka meron pa kayong hindi mga napanood na importanteng malaman nyo before kayong mag-import sa China or through the Alibaba platform. And once yung product imports nyo is nasa inyo ng freight forwarder, literal na hihintayin nyo na lang yan dumating dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Kasi once naman na ma-release na yan from customs, yung freight forwarder nyo mismo, yung magna-notify sa inyo na ready for pick-up or ready for delivery na yung mga import products nyo. Doon nyo pa lang yan babayaran kapag ready for pick-up and for delivery na. But anyways, I will be providing more information about that dun sa ating freight forwarder video. So once na-inform na kayo na ready for pickup or delivery na yung products nyo, ano yung dapat ninyong gawin? First thing is confirm your delivery. Kapag na-deliver na yan sa inyo, na-check nyo na tama yung quantity ng packages na na-receive nyo, let them know. I mean, business ethics kasi yan, hindi yung magre-reach out ka lang sa iyong freight forwarder kapag merong problema. Let them know na na-receive mo na and give them feedback for them to improve their system or maybe their process kung sa tingin mong meron silang kailangan i-improve kasi that will help them as business. And second thing na ginagawa ko is related sa marketing. So this is personal for me. Kasi ito talaga yung ginagawa ko once na-receive ko yung mga imports. It's either nagla-live ako or nagbe-video ako nung import arrival para lang ma-share ko dun sa mga potential clients and customers ko. Kasi that's part of marketing para alam din nila, available na tong product na to and alam talaga nila na nag-i-import ka, which means mas mababa yung price na pwede mong i-offer sa kanila kasi nga maramihan kang mag-import or galing talaga yan from direct suppliers sa ibang bansa.
Importer, Hilton Pillows, Care Pants, and Hilton Towels po available na ulit. New stock has arrived. Meron tayo mamayang hapon. So this is just the first batch. Meron tayong second and third batch na darating din within this day.
Next na ginagawa ko po is I am doing our inventory and quality check of the product. If kilala mo na yung supplier mo, you can do a random check ng mga items. And pagdating naman sa inventory, of course, you have to make sure na tama yung quantity. So, yan yung ginagawa ko kasi merong lang deadline yung trade assurance protection. Yung na-discuss natin from the previous video, right? Meron siyang deadline, kaya we need to make sure na magawa natin yung inventory and quality check within the deadline or bago pa mag-expire yung ating trade assurance order protection. And then next na ginagawa natin, of course, if there are issue or mga damage sa ating items na in-import, make sure to document. Either mag-picture kayo, mag-video kayo, or i-chat nyo na diretso yung supplier ninyo na ito yung mga na-encounter nyong issue. So, you can negotiate kung paano kayo mag-meet halfway na hindi na magiging hassle, especially yung return. Kasi syempre kung magre-return ka ng item, napaka-hassle nun. Again, you can include that to your negotiation. From the last or from the previous video na pag-usapan natin, importante na merong after-sales service yung supplier na pipiliin ninyo. Kasi nga, hindi naman maiiwasan minsan na nagkakaroon ng problema. Next is, of course, you have to file a refund and dispute within the deadline if merong kailangang i-refund or i-file ng dispute. Malalaman nyo yun after you do the inventory and the quality check. Again, meron tong deadline. Yung trade assurance order protection, meron pong deadline. Kaya you have to check that through the order link. And then confirm your transaction to your supplier. Again, business ethics po ito. Once na na-receive nyo na yung mga imports nyo, let them know. Napakabilis lang naman mag-chat through Alibaba platform. And then confirm your transaction to your supplier. Again, business ethics ito to let them know na na-receive nyo na yung mga in-import nyo from them. And don't forget to give feedback kasi that will help them as well. And also, it will benefit you as their customer. Ayan yung ginagawa ko once I receive my imports. Again, if you think meron tayong dapat idagdag, let me know. I appreciate all the information and knowledge that you can share with me. I am putting this information out there hoping na may matulungan and hoping din na matuto coming from your end naman. And that's it for our importing tutorials. Let me know if you have a certain topic that you would like me to discuss or you think kailangan pa nating malaman regarding importing. Again guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment sa ating video. And again, share this information sa mga taong sa tingin nyo matutulungan ng ating mga tutorials. Thank you so much guys and see you sa ating next video.